Hello everybody, welcome back again. It's Scott Dressor here with OCONUS, the contractor's life. We're down here in Enumclaw in the state of Washington. You can see my Captain America targets behind me. My friend that's with me actually calls them the Captain Puerto Rico targets. I'm not sure why, but he'll probably tell you why. So I'm here with my good friend Trevor Richie with the Gamma Security Group. And we're going to cover down on a number of topics today. There's been a lot of stuff people have asked, a lot of questions. And we're going to cover down on all those things, especially like the sling. Why am I doing a single point sling as opposed to a 2-point system? I mean, this is my primary. Why do I carry the holster and use the holster I do? So we're going to cover down on that and some other stuff too. But primarily, just know that and make sure your weapon's on safe. Now you can't do that if your bolt carrier is forward and you've already pulled the trigger as part of a safety measure. But anyway, folks, we're going to cover down on all that stuff today and some more things. Thanks for tuning in for this one. Here's my friend, Trevor Richie.
Hey guys, I'm Trevor with Gamma Security Group, here with Scott Dressor, OCONUS, the contractor's life. I wanted to give a special shout out to Scott for making the drive all the way down here to Enumclaw. I can't imagine a better day to go shooting. Scott touched on a lot of good things in his first opening. He's talking about the sling. I also have a single point sling. I don't use double point. That's my preference. My holster is just a straight piece of leather. It's called a JIT. That's what I carry every single day. A lot of you are going to have a lot of questions and maybe even some hateful comments about, well, I use this holster and I use that holster. You know what? Good for you guys. I use the equipment that I use because this is how I train. This is what I carry on a day-to-day basis. So let's start with the first and most glaring piece of equipment. We got a single point sling. However you set up your single point or your double point is entirely up to you. Mine is set up to where all I have to do is just rotate and my weapon is straight up and down range. One of the biggest things that I see a lot of people doing, and I've actually seen it out here today with some of these other guys, they will move their head or their body to the weapon. That's not proper. What you should be doing is just like you would a hammer. You won't move whatever you're nailing to the hammer. You move the hammer to the nail. You move the weapon to your head. You move the weapon to your line of sight. Single point sling allows me to do that. My little grip down here allows me more stability if I'm traversing. A lot of guys will put their hands right here. That's fine. A lot of guys, if they have a full free float system, they'll put their hand down here with a little cover. That's entirely up to them. How I use this is quite easy actually. If I'm trying to engage the Captain Puerto Rico targets, which Scott touched on earlier, thanks to my wife and my stepson, they pointed out to me that the new Captain America looks like Captain Puerto Rico. So that is the running joke in our household. Irritates me every single time, but you know what? I love them. If I'm standing here and I'm getting ready to engage my target, I have a single point sling. My weapon is right here. I am always carrying at the low ready if I'm in an engagement. I see a threat, I'm up. Right down. I see a threat, I'm up, I traverse, I'm back down. Now, a lot of people who are right-handed shooters, they keep their sling coming from the right down to the left. Well, why do you do this? If I'm engaging and I'm still in the middle of an engagement, but I'm out of ammo, out, down, press. Notice that I did not change my body stance. I am still engaging. I still have my plates towards the enemy, where the bullets are coming from. A lot of people will carry multiple retention systems on their holster. That's your personal preference. One thing that I know Scott will touch on, and I will touch on, and almost every single weapons instructor will touch on, your equipment has to be baked for the situation that you're in. Since I carry this on a daily basis, whatever situation I'm in, I am going to have this holster so I can automatically come out and I'm already engaging. Scott is now going to go through how he uses his rig.
Howdy folks, Scott Dressor here again for OCONUSTCL Contractor's Life. So Trevor Richie covered down on why the single point sling, and that's why I like it. Now there are, again, the 2-point system, depending on where you put the second point, okay, whether you put the first one here, somewhere else, wherever you put it, and the second one, again, that is going to be, as some guys have told me, they're right, it is a more secure system. There's things you can do with that kind of a system that you can't do with a single point sling. So like a lot of things, aside from being true to preference, a lot of it is purpose and application driven, okay? So if I'm going to be mobile, if I'm going to be doing a lot of walking, running, if I'm going to be getting in and out of vehicles especially, I want a shorter platform, so I'm probably going to want like a 10-inch barrel, not a 14 or 16-inch barrel, but I'm going to want a single point sling, not a double point. Doesn't mean you can't, but it's going to be a lot easier getting in and out and doing the things you need to do with a single point sling. So there's a lot of things we can cover on that, but those are the reasons why a lot of us choose a single point sling. And it is, as he was saying, when you need to just move it out of the way, you just move it out of the way and you do what you got to do. You come back and get back in the fight. But, you know, we'll cover down on my take on that later. What we want to do now is cover down on what a lot of guys refer to as kit. Your carriers, plate carriers, your vests, whatever you want to call them. Man, there is no shortage of them. There's all kinds of them out there. Everybody seems to be making them now. And there's all kinds of claims to fame about which one's the best and why. So you've got basically a minimalist rig here that Trevor has. One of my boys has that, and a lot of guys, you know, this is just basically a minimalist rig. Basically just for your ammunition, pistols, rifle, maybe your radio, maybe some chem lights or chem sticks, whatever you want to call them. Maybe use this as a drop bag for spent magazines, whatever. But so it's a minimalist rig. Mine, again, it was dictated in part by where I was working at the time I picked it up, okay? So, but I got this, a friend of mine developed it, and based on the stuff we were using over there, this rig balanced the weight perfectly, because we were carrying, I got level 4 plates in there now, combined, they're maybe 15 pounds combined. Before, when I was working overseas, where I was using this, when I got it, we were carrying the hard rock steel. So I was carrying about 50 pounds of steel just in the plate. Forget about everything else that was on there. This did a tremendous job of spreading everything out and distributing the weight evenly so I didn't wear out my back, my hips, and everything else, okay? Again, it's got its limits. There's only so many things I can put on there, but unless we're going to the combat, you know, and we're going to be hiking around and doing the things we need to do in an offensive operation, these are the kinds of sorts of things that you really need. I've got my pistol magazines, my rifle magazines, I've got more MOLLE and stuff I can Velcro on, whatever I need. I can put my tourniquets up here, I can put my chem sticks in there, I can put more stuff on there, whatever I need to do, okay? So again, which one's the best? Everybody's going to have a comment about that one. I'm not sure there is a best one. If there is, I haven't met it, but I've seen some really good ones, and I've worn some good ones. Again, it just depends on what you need and what you're using it for, okay? You might just need a minimalist, you might need this, you might need more than that, okay? So when it comes to kit and rigs, you may not even need one, okay? I mean, most of the time when we're working, I'm working, Trevor's working, and other guys we know, most of the time, we're just wearing our street clothes, whether it's business casual, blue jeans, whatever. Some of us might occasionally put soft armor underneath, but that's pretty much it. But there's limitations on soft armor as well. I mean, but like anything, like we've talked about before, folks, anything you use, anything you wear, anything you accoutresize yourself with, you got to practice with it. You got to wear it. You got to try the different things. So whatever you're going to do, a single point sling, a dual point sling, if you're going to use a level 0 or no safety at all on your holster, a level 2, level 3, level 4, whatever. You got to practice with it. Whether you carry your pistol up front, exposed, or concealed in back, whatever, you just got to practice with it, okay? And you're either going to like it or you're not. Some guys like Safari, some guys like Black Hawk. I mean, you can just go down the list. It's endless. But you just find what works for you, what fits in your hands, what fits your body, and what works. Practicality, that's what it's all about. Functionality, practicality, as long as it works. As you can see, I got 550 cord on my single point sling to attach it to because I didn't have the tools. I didn't want to spend the money and the time, but it works, folks, and it's been like that for years. It hasn't slipped at all. It looks goofy, but it works, and that's what I'm talking about. A field expedient. I did the same thing overseas at one location. So we'll touch down on some more things. There's a lot of things. Thank you for your feedback. Any comments you guys have, good, bad, indifferent, throw them at us. If you got questions, whatever, you know how to contact us. Just send it to info@OCONUSTCL.com. Again, thanks for tuning in. Scott Dressor and my friend Trevor Richie for OCONUS Contractors Life. Remember to be careful what you wish for, folks. Stay frosty, and until next time, keep it real.